Jinkies, can you believe Scooby-Doo is 56 years old? 56 years of meddling kids solving mysteries, 56 years of splitting up to look for clues.
Let's split up and look for more clues. So we better split up and look for clues. We'd better split up and look for clues. I think we should split up. What are we looking for? Clues!
56 years of Scooby snacks and literally the tastiest looking sandwiches I have ever seen in my life. Scooby-Doo was a huge part of my childhood, and it brings back so many nostalgic memories. And you know what? I don't even mind that Velma show. I thought it was pretty good. I'm just kidding. Literally the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm also a basic bitch who doesn't even know how to use hashtags.
But man, I feel so lucky to have grown up in the golden age of Scooby-Doo. That short period of time between 1998 and 2001 where Hanna-Barbera made direct-to-video Scooby films. One banger after the other. I got spooked by the witches, fell in love with the Hex Girls, had fun with the aliens and cyber monsters. There was something to love about all of them. But of course, nothing I've mentioned comes even close to the classic, the fan favorite, the GOAT of all Scooby-Doo movies, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Absolute cinema. I must have watched that movie over 100 times as a kid. I loved it to death. And ever since I rocked my Fred costume last Halloween, I've been wanting to revisit this masterpiece from my childhood. But that also got me thinking, hey, what about that sequel they made 20 years later? Didn't really bother wasting my time with it. And, well, you know what I think of legacy sequels.
We've met before.
Shut up. But surely a Scooby-Doo movie with zombies can't be that bad, right? Right? Yes, Return to Zombie Island is the worst Scooby-Doo movie I've seen. Worse than Arabian Nights, worse than The Curse of the 13th Ghost, even worse than the Velma show. No, I'm kidding. It's a little bit above that.
I mean, sure, if someone was like, want to see a naked picture of Fred? I'd be like, hubba hubba.
So let's dive deep into this mess and explore why these two films, although similar in concept, differ so much in quality. Why is this one so good? Why is this one so bad? Well, grab your Scooby snacks and come with me. We got a mystery to solve. These days, if there's one thing that's more powerful than God himself, it's nostalgia. Throw in a lightsaber or a proton pack and you've already done half the work. So when these legacy sequels started cashing in on that sweet nostalgia and bringing in the money, Warner Bros. Jumped in to grab their slice of the pie. And that, of course, is how in 2019, we got Return to Zombie Island. And I know technically this isn't a legacy sequel, it's just a nostalgia sequel, but you get my point. Now let me ask you this, what do you expect to see in a Zombie Island sequel? I'd say they're probably gonna bring back the creepy zombies, the spooky island, the cat monsters. It'll probably have a darker tone like the original, focus heavily on the supernatural, with real monsters and curses. We'll have some good laughs, but also genuine scares and a real sense of terror. The blueprint is right there. It'd be hard to mess it up. Well, they messed it up. I noticed something was off right from the opening scene. The film starts in a similar way to the original Zombie Island, where we get a classic Scooby-Doo adventure. The gang is being chased by a werewolf, Fred traps it, and then they unmask the baddie. Classic stuff, right?
Of course!
And yet, something feels wrong. Where's the spookiness? The storm? The creepy castle? No, instead this takes place in an alley, like the ones I walk by every day. Nothing special about that. Where's the classic Scooby-Doo theme song? Scooby and Shaggy acting like bumbling buffoons, the thrills, the action, the fun, the excitement. Nope, the werewolf easily gets defeated in 30 seconds, and then we get a mystery machine cleaning montage. It's just not as special, is it? Something's missing, like no effort was put into this opening scene. This is a great example of two things that are similar in concept but completely different in execution. In both instances, we're dropped right into a classic Scooby adventure, but one is a great nostalgic throwback with fun gags, a spooky setting, and a fun payoff, and the other is just lazily thrown together with no thrills and no fun. So I'm already on the fence about this, but things do get a little bit better after this. Elvira shows up to announce that Shaggy won a vacation to a tropical island.
Shaggy Rogers!
So just like that, a new adventure begins. But on their way there, the gang notices that things are a little weird, like how this place looks exactly like Zombie Island. And that part of the movie was okay, even a little fun, dare I say. There's a couple throwbacks, and then zombies show up. It's not perfect or anything, but it somewhat captures the spirit of the original movie here and there. And then halfway through, we get the big twist. You ready for it? Oh boy! So it turns out the zombies are actually actors, and this guy is a movie director, and he wanted to make a movie with the Mystery Gang without them knowing it. Are you kidding me? That's right, not a single real zombie shows up in this Zombie Island sequel. Morgan Moonscar and his horrifying zombie pirate buddies? Nope, forget about that.
We are in a movie.
Cut!
Lame.
Well, that's a huge letdown, but don't worry, the movie's not over yet. There's still time to turn things around.
Sure!
So after the twist, the gang agrees to make the movie anyway. And then for like half an hour, they mess around and it's boring as shit. But then all of a sudden, am I dreaming? Or is this... Yes! They're back! The cat people are back! They're bad guys in masks. They're bad guys in masks looking for a treasure. Guys, you're not doing this right. That's not what we wanted. Besides the fact that it makes no sense because they're able to run faster than a car on all fours and they apparently have adamantium claws that can cut through anything. Yeah, other than that, and more importantly, they missed the whole point of that first movie. They pissed on it like my cat used to piss on my carpet before it died. Greedy bad guys in costumes, the most overdone Scooby-Doo trope ever, and they dare do that when the whole point of the first movie was that the gang was tired of solving the same mysteries over and over again and wanted real terror. People love Zombie Island because it was darker and had the gang face actual monsters for once. And not only did they not do that, but they dare hint at the idea that the Zombie Island events didn't actually happen and that somehow the mystery is still unsolved.
But as a woman of science, I know there is no such thing as zombies.
So it stands to reason that what you saw wasn't a zombie at all. We've already been through this. There's no proof that zombies are haunting the island. Let's be reasonable.
There's no way they were real. It defies the laws of science.
But the cat people from last time...
Must be the same people looking for the treasure this time.
And the original zombies?
Swamp gas.
They mentioned time and time again that zombies don't exist, cat people can't be real. Hey, okay, quick question. What about this scene?
Maybe it's... real!
And what about this scene?
I know there is no such thing as zombies.
Huh? What? It's one thing to take a different direction with your sequel, but to undermine everything that happened in the first one as if it were just a big joke is such a strange choice. It's a horrible retcon.
Nothing ever felt right about our previous adventure, but I could never figure out why.
What are you talking about?
Now, they do leave the supernatural elements slightly open-ended, but in the lamest, laziest possible way you can imagine. Basically, they set up this Giga cat monster that shows up here and there throughout the film. He attacks the group a couple times, and then at the end, when they unmask the culprits, they realize this thing wasn't actually part of the group.
4? There's only 3 of us.
And the payoff to this is, well, there is none. They just go, well, maybe he's roaming somewhere and maybe the curse was real, I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, there really is an immortal cat person left on the island. Maybe they still exist, roaming the island.
Save that take. That was money.
That's it. We never hear of this thing again. What was it? What was it doing there? Was he buddies with the ones from the first film? Is it another guy in a mask? Why did he try to murder people instead of sucking their life essence like the cat people did in the first film? What is happening? It's like the writer had an idea for a villain and then he went, I'm tired, let's just wrap this up. We'll do a voiceover and show it climbing a tree or something. That's good enough. I'll give them this. They went in a different direction and I like to be surprised. I like when filmmakers do their own thing, but this was possibly the single worst way to make a sequel to the greatest Scooby-Doo movie ever made. It's like they were actively trying to piss the fans off. The essence of the original is completely missing here, as if the cat people had sucked it all out, except they couldn't because they never even show up. What a joke. Speaking of jokes, Alright, the zombies aren't real, cat people aren't real, the story sucks, but here's an even bigger problem. This is a Scooby-Doo movie, a Zombie Island sequel, and it's neither funny nor scary. We've already talked about the opening scene and how it lacks any personality, charm, thrill, spookiness. It's just lame. But the one scene that made me realize they were really messing this thing up is when we encounter our first zombies. Here's the setup. Shaggy and Scooby are enjoying their tropical vacation, and they decide to treat themselves to a relaxing massage, which they get from zombies. Oh boy, this is exciting. The action begins.
A little lighter, please. I'm extremely fragile.
The problem is obvious here. The first time we see our antagonists, they're played for laughs. They're not even close to being a threat. They just go straight for the obvious joke. So this tells the audience that our characters are safe and we got nothing to worry about. Now let's compare this to the first time we see a zombie in the original movie. Sorry, I had to wash my underwear because I just shit my pants. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? This is frightening. Straight out of a horror movie. I vividly remember watching this scene as a kid and being horrified. I knew for a fact this zombie pirate was gonna travel all the way from Louisiana to Quebec to come chop my head off. There's tension, atmosphere. Shaggy and Scooby are trapped in there with nowhere to go. It establishes that the curse is real, the threat is real, and only afterwards do they follow it up with a moment of levity.
That pirate moon scar was like nothing but bones. And then he got worse, like a zombie.
That's how you do it. It's almost as if this was written by a competent writer. We get a similar situation later on, but in reverse. Here we get a couple of fun jokes, a nice little character bonding moment with these two, and then a creepy-ass ghost shows up and terrifies them. And that part is not played for laughs. Do you see the balance? Do you get what I mean? There's a way for the bad guys to be scary while keeping the movie fun and funny. That's how you craft a good scene. A playful, charming character moment, levity, visual gags, funny lines.
Like much better.
But let's not forget there are monsters lurking around and there's a mystery to solve. Classic Scooby-Doo stuff. The gang is in real danger, you're actually scared of the monsters, but these ones? Not so much. Now, of course, in the first Zombie Island movie, we eventually learned that the zombies were actually the victims all along and they meant no harm.
Those zombies are just the poor souls you drained. They were just trying to warn us so we wouldn't suffer the same fate they did.
Kinda like how we learned in the new movie that they're actors and not bad guys, but for that bait and switch to work, you have to believe they actually were the bad guys. Otherwise, that reveal is utterly useless.
These aren't zombies.
As for our actual bad guys of the film, the fake cat people, well, I don't know how that's possible, but somehow they're an even bigger joke. Just a bunch of bumbling, incompetent idiots. Hilarious! They're focused on having fun and being silly, but there are no stakes whatsoever. Nothing that happens matters. It doesn't matter if it's a kid's movie, the main characters should still be in peril. You gotta root for the heroes. There should still be, at the very least, a slight sense of danger. But that's not the feeling I'm getting here. Alright, so this movie is not spooky in the slightest, despite being a direct sequel to fucking Zombie Island. Oh god! It is instead very much focused on being a comedy, which I wouldn't necessarily mind if the movie was actually funny. So, is it funny?
Did he just say to get out?
I choose to believe it's some sort of island greeting like aloha. Get out to you too!
Get out. Yes, get out, everyone! Oh, so friendly. I just love island life.
You tell me. Now, I'm not a comedic expert. I usually just zoom in on people's faces and add a fart sound effect, and that makes me laugh, okay? But when I was studying screenwriting, I did learn a thing or two about writing comedy. You've probably heard comedy comes in threes before.
Comedy comes in threes.
Basically, instead of throwing a random joke here and there, like Marvel movies do so well, you set up a gag and reincorporate it a few more times throughout the movie until there's a payoff to it.
Watch out! We're gonna go! Go! Huh?
exploded?
And in order for it to work, it'll usually move the story forward or develop the characters, basically have more purpose in the movie than just adding a joke for a cheap laugh. And I think the original Zombie Island has two great examples of this: the hot peppers and the cats. Shaggy and Scooby dare each other to eat the spiciest peppers on Earth, which leads to fun little jokes. And also, Scooby hates cats and he keeps chasing them. And both are really funny. They work every time. But not only that, they also have payoffs. It's eventually revealed that the ladies are in fact horrifying cat monsters, so this joke makes sense. It actually had an impact on the story.
Get this beast off of me!
Miss Lenoir hated Scooby because she was a cat and she hates dogs. Later on, the spicy peppers come back when they end up being used against Jacques, the giant pussy cat monster. It all makes sense, almost as if this was written by a competent writer. And won't you look at that, the final joke of the movie is Scooby being surrounded by cats just as he's about to eat his spicy peppers, closing the loop on both running gags.
Rats! Right!
Comedy comes in threes, baby. That's how you do it. And not only that, but once again, these jokes move the story forward. Scooby has a fight with the cats in the kitchen, so he's forced to eat outside with Shaggy. They of course dare each other to eat the spicy peppers, which leads to them going to the lake to cool off, and that's when the zombies show up to scare them. You get it? It's all connected. Alright, so what about Return to Zombie Island? Well, you know what? This one too has a recurring gag, which is that the gang promised Shaggy and Scooby they wouldn't try to solve any mysteries during their vacation.
We solemnly swear to not solve any more mysteries, man.
So whenever something creepy and obviously suspicious happens, they keep going, well, if I was looking to solve a mystery, I would say this and that, but thankfully I'm not looking to solve any mysteries, ha 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 ha. And then repeat that 15 times.
I choose to believe it is in no way mysterious.
Gee, if I cared about solving mysteries, I might be thinking about that other time we went to an island filled with zombies.
There's absolutely nothing mysterious going on. Nothing.
Well then, if I was a person that was curious about such phenomena, I'd probably want to investigate that.
Are you guys suggesting that there's something mysterious going on here?
No.
Not at all.
Since we're back, we could break this thing wide open.
Break? As in break a promise?
I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for the guest book pages being ripped out.
Why would we need protection?
Gee, Fred, it sounds like you're asking about something mysterious.
When you hear something suspicious, I guess the best thing to do is ignore it.
But we are not worried, not even a little bit curious about what the ferry captain told us on the way here.
We've got a case of someone who has an overactive imagination.
Huh?
But we promised Scooby and Shaggy that we wouldn't solve any more mysteries.
Jesus Christ, we get it already. And then at the end they go, you know what guys, let's start solving mysteries again. Yeah, why not?
We should never have made you guys promise to not be who you are.
Mystery Inc. forever.
That's it, that's the payoff. What a great lesson, right?
Nobody cares.
I actually thought this was pretty funny the first or second time they did it, and then at one point it just becomes so incredibly obvious and obnoxious. You shouldn't be able to guess the punchline every time it's set up. It's the same joke repeated over and over and over again, without ever really bringing anything to the story, without really ever evolving, without having any kind of payoff other than Shaggy and Scooby just changing their minds. It's like they don't understand how basic setups and payoffs work. For example, at one point they set up this giant stunt where they want the mystery machine to jump over the hotel for the fake movie they're making. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Fred will obviously have to make the jump later in the story in a pivotal moment. He might do it to get out of danger, maybe escape the bad guys, maybe rescue someone in peril. Alright, so near the end of the movie, the gang is being chased by the cat people, and of course Fred courageously jumps over the hotel as expected. Alright, awesome. And then they land, and they immediately go, oh crap, the cat monsters are still chasing us. Quick, let's hide in the hotel.
Hurry, everyone! Head for the hotel!
Okay, so what was the point of that jump? Couldn't it have done something? Like anything? And it's not like Fred's arc was to find the courage to do it or anything. He was never scared of doing it. It's not like he saved anyone. It's not like that was the only way to escape. Seriously, what was the point of this? Take this scene out and absolutely nothing would change. Nothing matters. Every scene in Return to Zombie Island is like a short comedic skit with no purpose. Nothing amounts to anything. Alright, here's a joke where the gang is wet and cold, and then in the next scene they're dry and they never mention it again. Here's a scene where Fred wants to do his own stunts, but he sucks and he runs into a wall. Here's a scene where Scoob is supposed to say I'm scared, but he keeps saying I'm hungry.
Hungry.
Okay, now they're attacked by cats. Okay, now Shaggy and Scooby serve fish to the cat monsters, and they go yuck. Hey, none of this matters. The story isn't going anywhere. We're just killing time. And sometimes the jokes don't even make sense.
I can only assume it was probably other guests with mud masks on.
Mud masks?
It does make more sense than flesh-eating undead monsters.
What are you talking about? We just had a flashback explaining the events of the first Zombie Island movie with zombies in them.
But then we were attacked by zombies.
I know there is no such thing as zombies.
Are you guys stupid? Anyway, I got a little too carried away with this. Long story short, it's not scary, it's not funny, so let's just move on to the final point. I can't believe I've gone so long without talking about this. I was itching to bring it up every second of this video, but I wanted to keep it for last. We gotta talk about the elephant in the room here. We gotta talk about the animation. So I know animators don't have it easy, time constraints, overtime, being underpaid, and I'm sure there are other reasons for why this looks like a literal piece of shit. I don't know, the producers probably wanted the movie to look kid-friendly and bright and colorful, and they had no idea how character design and art direction works. Honestly, I could just stop talking here and simply show a side-by-side of the first movie and its sequel, but I'm too embarrassed for the movie. Stop it. This is just sad. Isn't it crazy how this 27-year-old movie looks 1,000,000 times better than the one that came out a couple years ago? I thought the whole point of these nostalgia sequels was to hone in on the nostalgia, you know, for people my age that grew up with the original. You guys had the blueprints, the amazing character designs, the perfect spooky atmosphere. All you had to do was do that again. And yet this is what we got? Look at it. Okay, now take a look at this incredible scene where zombies are getting out of the swamp. God damn. It's eerie, creepy, dark. I love it. Now look at this scene where zombies are getting out of the swamp. Okay, now let's see how they establish Miss Lenoir's mansion in the first movie. God damn, the creepy violin crescendo, the dark tone, the look, the feel. Now here's how they introduce it in the new one. Great. A bland static shot with characters walking into frame. Again, I don't mean to dunk on animators, I think their job is shitty enough as is, but this looks so incredibly lazy. Like no effort was put into this whatsoever. And it seems obvious that they didn't care at all about staying true to the original. I mean, for God's sake, even the food doesn't look good. Look how disgusting this looks. What is this? Did they puke on the counter? Any food in a Scooby-Doo movie should always look mouth-watering. This is the movie's biggest crime yet. I watched it and didn't even crave a sandwich afterward. I really don't have anything else to say about this, other than it looks subjectively worse. You have eyes, you can see for yourself. This looks like crap. Making a sequel to the greatest Scooby-Doo movie ever made is no easy task. You gotta stay true to the original, capture the tone, the look, the atmosphere, have a good reason for the story to continue and expand. Fans are obviously gonna have high expectations, so you gotta make the right moves. And after years of waiting, we got this. I had low expectations and was still somehow disappointed. The story, the writing, the animation, everything is just bad. Had this been a 20-minute episode of one of the animated shows, I wouldn't mind it as much, but as a movie that you have to pay to watch, it's hard to see Return to Zombie Island as anything other than a soulless, lazy cash grab, and I want it out of my life forever. And just like that, we're finally done talking about Scooby-Doo. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got more mysteries to solve. So until next time, keep watching horror movies. It's good for your health. Bye-bye.